Morgan Freeman right there telling you, encouraging everyone, including myself, to learn to be calm and be still, as you're going through life. Welcome to the conversation on TOS Television Network, your digital first Pan-African news network. And as always, the conversation promises to be quite insightful and engaging. My name is Adesu Alsui.
And my name is Merciful Ajinimo. Once more, good morning.
Good morning, Merciful. It's good to be back on the show.
I can say that. I can say that. I'm like, okay, you're just doing this like you're not out for like almost a month.
I know, right?
How have you been?
I've been okay. I've been okay. Thank you for holding it down, in my absence. All right, moving straight into stories and development from across Africa. Starting from this story, it says ECOWAS hesitates sanctioning Burkina Faso over junta's willingness to restore constitutional order. Willingness to work towards a return to constitutional order is shown by the military junta that overthrew the government in Burkina Faso last week. Leaders of West Africa's regional bloc said on Thursday after an emergency summit meeting on coups in the region.
And West Africa's regional bloc, the Economic Community of West African States, said on Thursday it will deploy troops to Guinea-Bissau to help stabilize the country after this week's attempted coup.
All right, let's move over to sport, and this is on AFCON. So the 2021 African Cup of Nations host Cameroon won Thursday, that's yesterday, knocked out of the tournament on penalties.
You say this news like you watch football.
I do sometimes.
Okay, so yesterday was something people did not expect at all. So they played 0-0 and played penalties. And Senegal, they have been all, strong throughout the tournament. And we're hopeful to see what happens during the final.
But how do you think Cameroon feels at this point?
I know they'll be bitter. They'll be bitter because, trust me, they've been coming with so much grit and strength all from the beginning. And now they were just flushed away by people we defeated. Nigeria defeated from the first stages.
Why you say we defeated? I'm wondering why.
Because you asked how will Cameroon feel? I'm saying how Nigeria feels at this moment because I'm Nigerian. Right?
Okay, I'm not going to focus on the fact that you just, turned the whole thing around and just brought it back, made
it's
Nigeria
AFCON, is everything for us.
Okay. All right, that's it for stories and happenings across Africa. But before, we continue with the show, I'm going to quickly bring you COVID-19 updates from across Africa. Yes, COVID is still real and it's still ravaging, so you need to do your part. COVID-19 updates from across Africa, and after that, we'll be moving straight into the big story.
It's the conversation, and you can be a part of our social media community. That is at TOS TV Network across all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And our website is www.tostvnetwork.com. It's the big story, the crux of the conversation, and this time we focus on yesterday's issue that trended on the internet from yesterday till today, and that's the controversy over usage of hijab in Kwara State. We're being joined on the telephone with Ayodeji Ologun, a spokesperson, Transparency and Accountability Group. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. So, some persons on Thursday, yesterday, sustained various degrees of injuries as protest over the use of hijab, thickened in Oyun Baptist High School, Ijabo, in Oyun local government area of the Kwara State. What do you make of this development?
Thank you very much. It is first of all instructive to remind us as a people that this is not the first time such a fracas will be occurring in Kwara State over the use of hijab or otherwise. It has become a recurrent issue, and this is a appropriate time for the government to take the bull by the horn, resolve these issues once and for all. And these are the issues. Most of the schools that we have, not just in Kwara State but across the nation, some of them were established by Christian missionaries, which were eventually taken over by government. And of course, being the government school, it doesn't matter whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you have access, you are free to attend classes, you are free to be a student of that school. But we should not forget also that even when those schools were being run by missionaries, there were students that were not Christians that were attending those schools. Sure. But they were forced, or rather I should use the word compelled, to abide by the rules, by the regulation, and by the ethics of such schools. There are a lot of Muslims that graduated from Christian schools. And that is why we have so much religious tolerance in this part of the West. I mean, this part of the country. Because most of the students that were Muslim that attended Catholic schools, that attended Anglican schools, learned Bible teachings from these schools. But now that the government has taken over the schools and is being run by the government, it is unexpected that people will not be allowed to practice. It is not out of place that the Muslim students who chooses to wear hijab to school should not be allowed. It is not for who is a Christian who chooses to use rosary to allow this school, so long it does not the rules and the ethics of such school, especially when it's being managed by missionaries any longer. The question is this: what is the solution? The government has an onus to do two things. Number one is to either return those schools back to missionaries to run them by their own rules, by their own ethics. Because we also know that there are a number of schools that are established by Muslim missionaries. We have Nasfa schools, we have Islamia schools, and the rest of them. The government has a choice at this time to return those schools to the initial owners and let them run it according to their ethics. Number one. Number two, if the government does not want to return these schools to the original owners to have them run, the government should be clear on the terms by which students will be admitted into such schools. So that if there are schools where hijabs or otherwise are forbidden, students are going to that school, right from onset will know that I've chosen this school and I have to abide by the rules. And the government, if they also permit the use of hijab or otherwise in some other schools, any student going to that school will know that this school that I've put in for, I have freedom and liberty to wear hijab or to use whatever I want. The onus of the resolution of this crisis lies in the hands of government, and this is the time. So that we do not begin to build nuisances, we do not continue to build, to breed students that are given to courtesan, that are given to violence, that are given to destruction of life and property at this very tender age.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ayodeji. Thank you for your points right there.
Thank you very much.
Adesua, I was going to ask you just, on this issue, talking about the liberalism that he just spoke about now. People should be allowed to do what they want to do. Are you of the similar opinion?
Well, I think I do agree with him to a large extent that the state government did say if you have female students that are willing to, wear the hijab to school, let them, but do not enforce it on everyone. So there are people, I wouldn't want to go to that school and not want to cover my hair. It doesn't mean that someone else who wants to cover their hair should not be allowed, or either do not want to cover my hair should be sent out because I'm not covering my hair. Like I said, there are a mixture of, it's not just a Muslim school. You have both Muslim, Christians, traditionalists, and people who don't even
support
religion in the school. So you should not make everyone cover their hair. He did say government should be clear in the terms of admitting people into the school, but it is one thing for the government to lay out those terms, another thing for the management of the schools to actually follow through and adhere to it. So there should be some balance somewhere between what the government wants and what the management of the school wants. And actually, people should just be allowed to, education should be separate from religion. That's
totally like what you said. On January 25th this year, we do know that the government of Kwara State, spoke about the allowance of people to do what they want to do. But still, just like what you said, like the government is one thing to say and it's another thing to follow. So I think there should be clear and something should be done about it. Yes. Justice, because we had someone lose his life. And we had people injured in the process.
I think the problem of the country today is really misplaced priorities, because you do not mix religion and education. I do know. It's like, I don't want to say it's a case of religious extremism and all of that. But
to an extent it is, if you ask me.
Yes, because the primary aim of these people going to school is education, to learn. Is to get educated. And if it was an Islamic school, we say, oh, you're going to an Islamic school, so you have to adhere to it. But it's a government school, a public school, owned by the government largely, and we have people managing it. So the aim is to learn. Let's not mix educational religious value, religious morals, and all of that with the aim of having people learn. Let people who want to cover their hair, and those who do not want to cover their hair, let them come to school and learn.
I totally do agree with you. Both government and even private schools, everyone should just be allowed to do what they want to do. And thank you for joining us, viewers, on the conversation. I know that you did have fun and you did learn a thing or two. Don't forget, you can always be a part of our social media community. That is at TOS TV Network. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. YouTube is right there. So for you to keep watching our videos, keep liking. And if you've not done so, please subscribe so you don't miss out on other videos that we have planned for you. My name is Merciful Ajinamo.
And I'm Adeswasi. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation, and have a very restful weekend.